Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about the 100, episode 506, titled Exit Wounds, which premiered Tuesday, June 5th, 2018 on the CW. I am recording roughly an hour after the episode has aired, so huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen. Take a moment to remind yourselves of those. Also, quick shout out once again to Mr. Legendary AO and ENX2103 for their reviews on my last recap video. Truly appreciate the comment. Hope to hear more from you in the future videos. But with that said, 15-minute clock. I'm going to start that now, and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So, because last week's episode was a repeat episode of 501, I noticed when I was watching again that when young Maddie had attacked Clark when they first met. Originally, I thought she attacked because Clark was an unknown, feared that she might hurt her and she would attack her. But the screams that Maddie was shouting at Clark was pretty much the reason why she attacked Clark, and I must have missed it the first time I watched it a few weeks ago. And it was because young Maddie attacked Clark because she thought she was a flame keeper. And I guess growing up as a Nightblood, Maddie was always taught to stay away from flame keepers. And then once she saw that Clark was also a Nightblood, that's why she fled, because she just attacked someone else like her. So I just wanted to clear that up because something I've noticed when I saw the repeat of the premiere last week. So there's that. So talk about 506 now, though. Timeline-wise, don't know specifically how long it's been, but it is enough time for the people that were in the Wasteland to return back to Polis. I believe it's roughly 3 days. It's definitely less than 6 because the travel time between Polis and Shadow Valley is 6 days through that wasteland. But Murphy did make a comment about the fact that he either has escaped from Allegis for 3 hours, or he's been hiding from under their radar for the last 3 hours, and he's been in that cave. But he does make it a point that he's been hiding away for 3 hours. When that 3 hours starts, that's the question, though. But episode reminder, though, I'm going to say it's dealing with the traitors. There was a huge focus for that episode. For the objective of the episode, I would have to say, is evading Allegis, not only for their peace offering, but also with hunting down their stragglers, stuff like that. So the episode breakdown, though, I picked up on 3 different storylines. First one being Allegis' offer of peace. Second one being hunting down Murphy. And the third one being Maddie's safety in Wonkru. So with the first storyline, this one is pretty much Deoza offering peace to Wonkru and pretty much saying if you lay down your weapons and come peacefully, they'll accept them into Shadow Valley, Garden of Eden. But anyone who takes this offer, Octavia is viewing them as traitors, as defectors, and kind of orders a kill order against them, pretty much. But with this situation going on, just want to comment that Echo's banishment has the potential of being revoked if she can successfully be a spy for Wonkru inside Allegis and bring down a way to get rid of the eye in the sky that they have on them, with the help of Monty's program, in hopes that Echo could get Monty's program to Raven, who is still a prisoner in Allegis. So there's that. Second storyline, though, because Murphy has the shock collar on him, there's a GPS tracker. So Mercury is very determined to find Murphy and kill him. But because Murphy's kind of been cave hopping, that's when the signal is lost. So eventually, signal's found. Mercury gets to Murphy's location, manages to step into a trap. He survives that trap in a way that Mercury reminds me of Murphy, who just wouldn't die as the cockroach. But because of this, Mercury is now a hostage by Murphy and Amori. So there's that. Third storyline is Maddie's safety. That is with Clark and Maddie continuing to tell everybody that Maddie was saved due to the synthetic Nightblood that Clark gave to her through bone marrow transplant. Unfortunately, Gaia and Nyla figure out that is a lie, and because of this, Clark views Wonkru as not safe, especially under Octavia's reign, and she even tells Maddie that they're going to have to defect to Allegis, which Maddie fears because she knows that Deoza is going to kill Clark. So there's that. So Maddie instead goes to Octavia, tells her the truth, and gets Octavia to accept her into Wand Crew so they wouldn't have to leave. But Clark views this as just making things a lot more difficult for them now that Octavia knows, even though she claims she's going to keep it as a secret. So there's that. Last moments of the episode show Echo, who is now in Elijah's custody. She kept Monty's thumb drive from being confiscated by putting it into a bullet wound of one of the defectors that she was helping escape. And also Echo has a shock collar on her until she is trusted once again. So there's that. So character-wise, though, we do see the return of Kara Cooper. She is pretty much one of the soldiers that not only trains with Octavia, but it's kind of like her advisor in a sense. She definitely warns Octavia of the potential rebellious actions that could arise with the Wand Crew due to the fear of them being bombed by the Aegis prisoners. So there's that. Also, the way that Kara was behaving towards Octavia, it really reminded me of how Echo used to behave when it came to King Rowan in last season. So that was an interesting comparison there. Also, a guy we see her return again, and we find out that while she's loyal to Wand Crew, her true loyalty is towards her faith as a Flamekeeper. And so she's wants to do whatever she can to protect the true last Nightblood, and that is Maddie. Though I still want to have the question, I'd still have the question of whether or not the flame would still actually work, considering the structure that the flame was meant to be operating under. Wasn't that connected to Allie's version of the City of Lights? And now that that's destroyed, doesn't that mean the flame's construct was destroyed too? I don't know. But there's a question there. But moving on to tidbits very quickly, we do not see Raven, Abby, or Zeke in this episode. They were mentioned though. Like Raven was mentioned and Abby was mentioned. Zeke was not though. Unless one of the prisoners called out his name or something, I don't know. But Jackson was also mentioned but not seen, and he was said to be caring for Indra and the other patients back in the med bay in the bunker. So Indra again not seen, just mentioned. So there's that. Also the fact that the bunker is still technically being used by Wand Crew for housing for the time being. They still go up on the surface. They still go down below ground. The only main issue why they're not staying within the bunker is because their food supply is running out. The what is it? The artificial farm, I guess, or whatever they called it, is losing supply. So there's that. So ship status. This is a lot longer. But with Bellamy and Clark, we do see them both worrying over the new version Octavia, or Blood Reina, that they're now witnessing. Bella and Echo deal with not only do they show devotion towards each other, but they deal with the possible banishment claim against Echo before she takes the deal with Octavia. We do see a round of goodbye sex between the two of them. So there's that. Murphy and Maury, we got them talking about why they broke up when she's trying to figure out a way to get the shock collar off him. This leads to a few kisses between them after their diversion plan worked. So there's that. Clark and Maddie, we have them protecting each other and going to great lengths for it. Clark willing to give up her own protection to get Maddie out of Wand Crew and into Aegis, while Maddie is willing to do the opposite while keeping them in Wand Crew so that Clark doesn't have to go into the lion's den of Aegis. So there's that. We see a bit of Octavia and Maddie. Octavia's interest in Maddie and her survival for 6 years, and then also later accepting her into Wand Crew when Maddie tells her the truth about her being a true Nightblood, yet not wanting to be commander, and then Octavia offering to train her the following morning. So there's that. We do see a reunion between Clark and Nyla. Avoidance at first because Clark couldn't really process the change that's happened all around, and yet Nyla kind of deflects whenever it talks about what's happened the last 6 years have occurred for her. So there's that. Also, we get a bit of a dynamic between Kane and Diyoza. She claims that they're friends now while he's worried about her betraying him, in a sense. So it's interesting there. But once again, Abby's referred to as Kane's girlfriend once again. So moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, I would have to say it has to be Octavia's acceptance of Maddie at the very end of the episode when she says that she's now a part of Wand Crew, and yet her reaction to Clark seemed very odd. It seemed like she's very, it seemed like Octavia was very nice to the child on the outside, but when it came to the parent, that's when like the mask went away and you see like this very cold personality coming through. Like they're playing a facade for the child, but they're a really bad person in that parent type thing. And I felt really awkward and very shocking because it was like a flip of a switch, and I was not expecting that. So I'll leave it at that. Moving on to top 3 favorite moments, I'd have to say major one has to be Clark and Maddie. Just seeing the lengths that they'll go to for each other, to protect each other, was just great. It's very interesting to see. And yeah, very interesting to see, especially when they continuously refer to each other as each other's family. Also, when Clark was saying that they had to defect to go to Allegiance, and then Maddie was just worrying about, no, you'll be tortured and killed if you go back to Allegiance, and Clark was like, it doesn't matter as long as you're safe. And she was telling her that if anything happened to her, she has to find Abby, she has to find her mom, and then they have like this intense hug. And then instead of Maddie doing that, she goes and tries to seek refuge with Octavia so that Clark doesn't have to be in danger. It's very interesting to get the dynamic between the two of them, but I love seeing it for sure. But moving on to another favorite moment was the fact that we got to see Bellamy and Octavia facing off against each other in like a sparring combat fight. And pretty much, I love the fact that Bellamy won against Octavia, and it was because of the Asgeda training that he got from Echo on the ring for the last 6 years, when it was something that Octavia pretty much mocked him for because she does not like Echo. She kept bringing up the fact that she associated so much death with Echo, with Gina, with Ilion, and then herself even. And then Bellamy was defending Echo, saying that all she was doing was protecting her people, exactly what they have been doing before all this. So it's very interesting, but I really like the fact that Bellamy won that fight, just to show that Octavia isn't the strongest fighter. I mean, she's strong in her own right, but she's not the absolute strongest, where like anyone who goes against her is like inferior towards her. No. Bellamy has the training, and that training is from Echo. So if Echo were to go against Octavia, I believe Echo would truly win. So it was very good to also have that shift back between the two siblings, because Octavia's kind of been on her high horse, and then Bellamy knocks her down and shows that, no, you're not the best, and you should really open your eyes to see what's happening in front of you, type of thing. I don't know. I really liked the fight scene. It was very intense. It's very cool how they didn't hold back with one another like Bellamy suggested the fight in the first place. And it was just interesting to see Octavia be taken down a peg when it came to that. So there's that. Another favorite moment I had was between Murphy and Amori, actually. I really liked the fact that they actually got to talk about why they broke up exactly. They got to hash a few things out, and also their plan to lure McCreary to their cave and then kind of set off a bomb to kind of get rid of the effect. It was very interesting to get them to that point, and then also to kind of have their little celebration with like the kisses and stuff, but only to have McCreary interrupted once again. That was annoying, but I love that Murphy and Amori, after 6 months, from the sounds of it, of being at each other's throats, they're now possibly getting back together, even though Amori claims that this doesn't mean that they're getting back together, but I have hopes. And another favorite of mine, I'll have to say, was the fact that we got to see a bit more of Echo being the spy once again, especially when she hid the thumb drive in that Shadow Clan girl's bullet wound. Disgusting, by the way, but clever in the heat of the moment. She managed to stash it there so that it could get confiscated. And just, I'm very interested to see what Echo can do as a spy. I mean, we got to see a bit of it at the start of season 3. Yeah, when she was working for Asgeda as a spy, and it was revealed. So it'll be interesting to see her working for a spy for a side that we're rooting for, as opposed to her working as a spy for the clan we weren't with. So it'll be interesting to see her skill sets there. So there's that. But moving on to top 3 peeve moments. First one I have to say would be how ruthless Octavia was. I mean, with her, I never know if I'm going to get Blood Reina, who takes no prisoners type of thing, or if I'm going to get Octavia, who relishes the fact that her brother is alive. So the fact that she was willing to sacrifice her own people because they defied her and they defied against her rule was very unsettling. And it just seems like she's basically ruling Wonkru through fear. And yeah, that's great when it comes to showing off her skill set and why she deserves to be in that position. But then when it comes to this episode where she's like killing off people who just want to go to a safer option, it just, yeah, I don't know. I'm very mixed towards it, but it's leaning more towards the peeve. But another peeve that I had was the fact that Maddie has this blind faith in Octavia. And there's a timer. And I can't help but wonder if Maddie has that blind faith because of all the stories that Clark told her about Octavia. And I feel like if it weren't for Maddie's blind faith in Octavia, maybe she would have confided in her about the fact that she was a true Nightblood and not a synthetic one like Clark. So that was a little peeve there. And also, I guess I could kind of give a little bit of leeway because she's still only a child. But I guess I have to wait and see. I'm just worried that it's going to backfire on her in some way. But anyways, moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode. Pretty much a lot of it was tinged with Octavia versus Echo in regards to it. So I'll leave it at that. But random questions very quickly. First one, did anyone else think that Maddie had slipped away to get on the defector transport that Aegis was offering? I thought Maddie had gone there alone so that Clark wouldn't be subjected to death by Deoza if they ended up in Shadow Valley. I don't know why it didn't occur to me in that moment that she could have ran off to Octavia to seek refuge. But when Bellamy was talking to Clark and then Clark found out that Maddie was missing, I truly thought that Maddie was rushing off to Echo. Rushing off with Echo to get to the transport ship. So I wonder if anyone else got that vibe first at all. I also thought maybe if Clark and Maddie were going to go on the transport and then Echo ended up going on the transport, maybe Bellamy might go with them too. But I do like the fact that Bellamy and Clark are now staying behind with Wonkru. So there's that. Moving on to another question. How long before the lie about Maddie being a synthetic Nightblood is going to be outed to the rest of Wonkru? Because already that lie just doesn't make any sense, because Clark finding Maddie and then giving her bone marrow to make her a synthetic Nightblood doesn't even make sense timeline-wise, especially when you know how quickly the death wave had hit. It's not like, I mean, with Clark, she had to get out of the blast radius, and even then, the radiation hit her immediately, like if the smoke just settled over her. It's like there's no way that Clark could have gotten over that and then gone out and then have found Maddie and then given her bone marrow. It's just no. The amount of time that Clark suffered through the radiation is the exact same amount of time that Maddie suffered through the radiation. It's just like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The only way it would have made sense is if Clark had already knew Maddie before the death wave hit and she had already done the bone marrow transfer before that wave hit, and then while she was recovering, that's when the prime fire came. So anyways, I'm wondering how long before that lie blows up in their face and people in Wonkru are trying to get Maddie to take the flame and be the true commander. I'm waiting for that to happen because I don't think they're going to hold off on that for very long. And the last question, though, is, was there more behind why Murphy was jealous of Amori spending more time with Raven? I mean, did he see something else that was going on there? Did he have his suspicions? Or was it just jealous because Amori's time was being spent learning from Raven? So there's that. But moving on to predictions very quickly, based off the promo for 507, once again, another week hiatus because it's not returning until June 19th, which pisses me off since we just came back from a week hiatus. But anyways, the promo shows Maddie training with Octavia. It also looks like Monty questions their worthiness of getting Eden if it means starting a war. It looks like Abby fails to find answers in regards to curing those Aegis prisoners. We still don't have much about what it is that they're sick with. So there's that. But based off the synopsis, though, for 507, it reads that Clark and Bellamy make a startling discovery about Wonkru's battle plans as Echo risks her friendship with Raven to complete her mission. That sounds very unsettling, but again, I have to wait 2 weeks for that. So what did you guys think of this episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and opinions about what you think is going to happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, websites, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place, so go check that out. I am behind, but hopefully I'll get right back into it very soon. But hope it's good for you. Also, anything I post online is connected to my WordPress account. Link for that is down below. A little more organized, still a work in progress, so keep that in mind as well. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you come back next time to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week wherever you are. Bye for now.